We set up the Irwell Valley Mining Project about, six, 7 years ago now. The idea was to remember the former collieries of the Irwell Valley, particularly Agecroft where I worked. So a group of us got together, some former councillors, the journalists, some local people who were interested in mining, some former miners themselves, to get recognition first of our history and remember our history, especially our coal mining industry, which played such a significant part in the area. So that's how we set up really, and our focus was on Agecroft Colliery, obviously because some of us worked there, my dad worked there, I worked there, and we wanted a memorial to the pits, because when the pit was closed nobody bothered really to do anything. And for something like 20 years, I know I used to come down regular on roundabout Workers' Memorial Day, or when the pit shut in July 1990, which is 27 years ago nearly, unbelievably. And I used to put some flowers down because I thought it was important to remember the sacrifice of the people who worked here, who actually died here, and the contribution that it made to the society that we live in today. It started off as a sort of personal sort of story in a way, but as you know, a personal story can blossom out into many avenues, and that's what it basically did. We found there was a lot of interest industrially and archaeologically in the site as well, from academics, media, other people, outside sources, who once you start a ball rolling, they get involved as well. And the offshoot is from basically sort of nobody remembering the pit, and even though it only just shut about something like 20 years ago, it's mushroomed into like other groups have been formed, and it's basically built a community around Agecroft that wasn't there before. So I'm quite proud of that, because now the pit's well and truly remembered, and further memorials have been planned of other people, and they have been put down. And I think it's very good that they've done that. That was the idea of the project, to involve the community and spread the word out basically, and say, look, we did have a mining industry here. It's been pretty much totally forgotten, and we wanted to invigorate the history of the area, and we did that. I think that I'm quite proud of that actually, and that other people have got involved as well. The project was set up as well with basically involving local people from the community in the building of the monuments and in the education of the monuments, because we thought it was important not being parochial, but to bring outside forces in, when it was basically, we thought it was our history. We were proud of that history. Not we block out outside people coming in, but we thought we should use local labour, say, building the monument, which was done by the apprentices at Pendleton College, sixth form college. They actually built the memorial, and that was what we intended in the first place, rather than just getting a builder to do it, because we thought it'd be more care and more concern, and plus it's education as well. And we also work with St Augustine's school, Pendlebury, which is adjoined to the cathedral called the Miners' Cathedral, St Augustine's Church, on that aspect again, because we spoke to the children, we worked with the children, we got to do the ceramics on the memorial, we got to do artwork, so they celebrated their history. And what we found was, obviously, a lot of the parents and grandparents of their children had worked in the industry, because the industry only sort of went 20 years ago. There's ancillary industries as well. It wasn't just about a coal mine. There's a lot of things that the coal mine pushed as well, like the ancillary work that went with it, the building work, things like that. And so it was a really educational thing for them, and they realised that their family members had been involved in the coal industry. A lot of them wouldn't realise that before, so it was education for them and education for us as well, because it made contact with people who hadn't been involved in the industry, who'd worked in it, and it really sort of brought them back to life, especially the older ones. It was like bringing up the memories again, and they were really enthused. We had a few exhibitions. We had a launching sort of exhibition in St Augustine's, and it was really well attended, and like I say, it brought back friendships that had been lost for many, many years, and I thought that was a really good part of the project. It got the community together, it got the children, the old and the young, it got everybody together, and it really made me proud to do that. I thought that's what community is about, sharing your stories, sharing your histories, and and going forward with your memories and keeping everything alive. I'm actually stood on one of the old pit shafts, basically from the 1840s. This was number one shaft, and behind me, about 25 yards in the background, is number two shaft. These shafts were very important because these were the escape shafts from the disaster at Clifton North from 1885, when 178 men and boys were killed. And if it wouldn't have been for the connection below ground between Lum's Lane and this pit, then a lot more would have died. So this was a lifesaver, this shaft. Of course, this was discontinued in 1932, and they were sealed up, but they're still here. One's here and one's 20 yards behind me. So it's quite historically important that we're recording this site as well, because the main shafts were sort of like 100 yards to the right of me. The modern ones, which most people will associate with Agecroft Colliery. It was set up as an educational project, and obviously a personal one. And it sort of mushroomed into many different places and avenues, because we've actually had contact with the Japanese Mining Museum. And it's a UNESCO-backed project that basically Japan had a coal industry, which I wasn't very much aware of, I had to admit. I was quite amazed that they actually had coal industry, because I thought it was quite isolated, Japan. It had oil and that was about it, which had to be imported, and nuclear. Anyway, I found out that they had coal mines. One was actually an island that was built, a community was built on an island to get the coal. It shut in the 1970s, this pit.
Coal was a key commodity for industrialization and one that Japan possessed in abundance. From 1887 to 1907, national coal output increased eightfold as the dominant source of energy to support rapid Meiji industrialization. Hokkei Pit on Takashima Island is located 14.5 kilometers offshore from Nagasaki Harbor. This is Japan's first modern coal mine, mechanized by steam engine through a joint venture with Thomas B. Glover and later purchased by Mitsubishi. Hashima Island is located 3 kilometers southwest of Takashima, and it was the success of Takashima that led Mitsubishi
We've been asked by a group in Manchester if we'd like to do a joint exhibition with them on Japanese mining and obviously British mining, because the similarities are obviously the same, and a lot of the mining machinery which was made in the northwest, and particularly in Salford by Mather and Platt, pumps, such things, and cages and drills even, was exported to Japan, because they didn't have a manufacturing base like that. So they had British machinery that was working in the Japanese mines, which was made here as well, and the similarities are obviously the same. It's coal mining, wherever you go in the world, same techniques. So we were looking forward to doing something with them people at the moment. And like I say, it is a UNESCO-backed project, which is quite staggering, really. See, Agecroft was here primarily, obviously, because it was a coal field, the Lancashire coal field. There's an abundance of coal, and there still is an abundance of coal below ground around the surrounding area. The reason it was here strategically, because it was next to the Manchester and Bolton Canal. So a lot of the barges were filled by an endless rope, which the canal was about 200 yards to the left of me, and they were transported the coal obviously to fuel the factories during the Industrial Revolution, along with the Pendleton Colliery, which was further up the canal. So it's a very important aspect to that. Of course, then came the railways, which were built next to the pit. So the transportation with coal was made easier. So strategically, we're between two main railway lines. The line that went to Wigan and Manchester, and the line that went to Bolton and Manchester, and a canal as well. So it was in the middle of basically a massive transport hub, and the coal was easy to extract, and it was easy to transport to the markets, obviously, that kept the pit going. Will we forget? I was at the Durham Miners Gala, and there was 200,000 people plus there. I go every year, I've been going every year for years and years, and I must say it was probably the biggest and the best that I've been to. And it just shows the interest in coal mining in general, and our history as well, and keeping our past alive, and that's the important aspect that I find of it. And we seem to be getting, like a lot of it's not nostalgia, it's just that, we're going forward, but we have to remember our past.